Crystal Ball College Football, and today we're talking about Ohio State quarterback CJ Stroud and why CJ Stroud should be the first player taken in the NFL draft. So here we go. I know it's up for debate. It's highly contested between him, Bryce Young, Will Levis. I think personally, the first two are the guys who I think I would kind of bet more money on as far as being franchise quarterbacks at the next level. But I know a lot of people are intrigued by what Will Levis brings to the table as well. But CJ Stroud, very good player, a guy that's had a lot of production over the last two seasons. He's completed 69% of his passes, 8,123 yards, 85 touchdowns, only 12 interceptions the last two seasons. He's been fantastic. And I think it all culminated with that Georgia game, right? In the college football playoff semifinal game, he was awesome. And he torched Georgia. 348 yards, 4 touchdowns, 34 yards rushing despite getting sacked 4 times. That's a big-time game. And that's the kind of game that really shows people what you can do, what you can be at your best against the best. Don't forget what Georgia did to TCU just a little bit over a week later. They dominated them. They completely shut down Max Duggan. They completely shut down that passing and rushing attack. But against Ohio State, Georgia had problems. And don't forget, Ohio State didn't have Jackson Smith-Njigba pretty much all year. That guy was considered a top 10 pick coming into the year. They didn't have Travion Henderson, their top running back. Cade Stover, their top tight end, got injured at the very beginning of the game. Oh, and their best receiver, Marvin Harrison Jr., got injured late in that game as well. And CJ Stroud had to try to battle without all those guys. And he still got them within field goal range, gave them a chance to beat, unquestionably, the best team in the country this past year. What? That's insane. That's insane. And kind of putting that in perspective even more. When you watch the game, the Ohio State versus Georgia game, the one thing that everyone has questioned about CJ Stroud is his mobility. Can't get outside the pocket. Can't get away from a pass rush. Can't run the football. He answered all of that in that Georgia game. His ability to get outside the pocket and extend plays and find guys open downfield was magical. It was the best I've ever seen from him. Is it a fluke? I mean, you could say that, but it was also against probably the best defense he's ever faced, and he torched them. They had no answer for him. He put up 41 points on them. He was awesome in that game. The running was also there. The 4 sacks really make those numbers not look as good, but on crucial downs and in crucial situations, he had some huge runs in that game, including the one that set up their game-winning field goal opportunity. He had a big run on that drive as well. So very impressed by that. During the season, he didn't run it a ton. His most notable game was the Northwestern game, in which the winds were just absolutely insane. He ran for 79 yards, but that game was just very offensively inept. But he still showed it, right? He still showed, hey, he can run for that kind of yardage when given the opportunity. So I'm not sitting here telling you, oh, he's like a Josh Allen type runner. Definitely not. That's not his game. He's never going to be that. But if you watch guys like Joe Burrow, a guy who can manipulate the pocket a little bit, get outside the pocket, is always looking to throw the football, last resort is running it, that's more the kind of prospect that I think CJ Stroud could be. Am I saying he's Joe Burrow? No, I don't think he's quite that level. Joe Burrow's awesome, though, and maybe CJ can get to that level, potentially. But I will say, CJ's got the kind of abilities, right? The accuracy, the deep ball downfield, the awareness, the ability to get outside the pocket, make throws downfield. The one thing he doesn't have that Burrow has, and not many quarterbacks have this, is Joe Burrow in the pocket is special. Like the ability to elude a pass rush is something that not many guys have. And CJ's not quite at that level. And that's a huge thing that obviously Joe has that CJ doesn't, but that doesn't really matter, right? Because we're just talking about who's the best quarterback in this class. And CJ at 6'3", showing what he could do on the biggest stage against Georgia, showing what he did throughout his entire career at Ohio State. I think it's a no-brainer, guys. This is the quarterback you want to have in this draft class. Now, his competition. So Bryce Young is at best 6 foot. I know he's listed at 6'1". I don't believe that. I've seen him in person. I don't think he is 6'1". I think 6 foot, maybe 6 foot. I think that's a big deal. Accuracy-wise, CJ Stroud's actually more accurate than Bryce Young has been. And, I know Bryce had a subpar receiving core this year, but I would also say CJ Stroud didn't exactly have his full complement of weapons all season either, and Stroud was more accurate than him. That's a big deal. I know that Bryce Young's more mobile. Bryce Young's the better runner. That's great, but I want the guy who's going to make plays downfield, be accurate in tight window situations, and just has shown a little more polish in my eyes at the college level. The other comparison's Will Levis. Will Levis, again, better runner. Great. Will Levis, not accurate, very raw. I just think that there's a problem turnover-wise with Will Levis. Turns it over far too much. And so I think that's where the huge edge goes to CJ Stroud in that department as well. I just think CJ's the safest pick. I think CJ also has a very high ceiling to be a very, very good quarterback for many years in the NFL. And now everyone's just watching the sweepstakes, right? Because you got the Houston Texans sitting at 2. They're going to take quarterback. And you got the Bears sitting at 1, just sitting with this pick that they're probably going to trade. And whoever trades up to 1 is going to have a really tough decision between CJ Stroud and Bryce Young and I guess Will Levis. And it's a program. I mean, not a program. It's a NFL team franchise level decision that they're going to have to make. And the guy that they should choose is CJ Stroud. So that's it on him. CJ Stroud, fantastic player. Lots of good players in this draft class. But the quarterback position and as far as overall prospects because of that position, CJ Stroud is the guy to go with. So that's it for Crystal Ball College Football today. Later on this week, we will talk about a program that is doing some big things in the transfer portal, so stay tuned for that. But for today, thanks for listening to Crystal Ball College Football.